Hi, I'm Michelle Landry. I've been a polymer clay artist for almost a decade now. I started with whimsical, fanciful creatures and houses, and then I merged into exploring polymer clay and all the different things that it can offer. I've taught hundreds of classes to adults and children in my community of all ages and skill levels. And I'm here on my channel to share videos of some of my favorite classes I've developed, some of my favorite projects, and some tips and tricks I've learned along the way. Today, we're going to talk about what do you really need to start working with polymer clay? Do you need all those fancy tools? My answer is no. You need just a few basics, and here they are. I hope this video is helpful to you and that you'll check out some of my other clay videos as well. Enjoy. So let's get into the basics of polymer clay. If you are somebody who is interested in really getting into this craft, hobby, or art, I will make suggestions on what is the best things for you to start and put your money into. If you are someone who just wants to do the occasional project, I'll tell you cheats of things that you probably already own or things you can get really cheap. Now, you have a few basic things that everybody needs to start polymer clay. You need something to roll your polymer clay out with. I highly recommend an acrylic roller. This is the one thing I would say you need to purchase. You can get them in the craft store. You can also get them in baking sections under fondant rollers. They're the same thing. Essentially, you need a hard acrylic because polymers, oils will seep into wood. You will never be able to get the wood completely clean. And it just for the ease of use, a polymer clay professional rolling pin like this, which costs maybe $10, is one of the top things that you should buy. Now, having said that, if you did not want to use that, you could use a piece of PVC piping. I have taught hundreds of polymer classes and workshops in the community and in an art center, and I did not want to invest in 10 of these. So I simply bought a 1-inch piece of PVC piping from Home Depot or one of the other big box stores and cut them down into sections about this size or smaller, and then just sanded the edges so they weren't sharp. They work just as good, and you may have some PVC piping around, and that would work as well. I don't recommend wood because of the oils and because of the dyes. You also need a blade. You need something to cut your polymer clay with. You can buy these polymer clay blades that are flexible and you can mount them on the handles that come with them. I choose usually to not use the ones with the handles, but these are not that expensive and definitely worth the money if you're going to be working with polymer clay a lot. But if you're not going to be working with it a lot, here are some other things you can use and things that I use in addition to this. An X-Acto knife. This is a very cheap craft knife. I think this cost me $1. You'll notice all my materials are very worn and full of evidence that I have worked with polymer clay for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. So nothing is pretty, but again, you don't need much. This is a palette knife. You can get plastic ones, metal ones. The metal ones also, not only are they wonderful for all sorts of different things you do with polymer clay, but they are sharp enough to cut polymer clay. They're also safer for children if you are going to be working with children in polymer clay. You can't cut yourself on a palette knife, but it's sharp enough to cut through polymer clay. An X-Acto knife would be something I would not work with children with. If you happen to already work with clay in some capacity, you may have a shim, a metal shim. I love working with these as well. They have a nice sharp edge. They're very inexpensive. You can get them in a whole bunch of them, and essentially you can cut in shapes with these. You can also use a razor blade. Razor blades are phenomenal to use, but again, only with careful adults. So all of these things, many of them you may have already. If you're an artist, you may already have a palette knife. Most people have craft knives and razor blades, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. So far I'm recommending you purchase this. And if you're going to be in polymer clay, perhaps a blade, but not necessary. The next thing that is a must-have, but you can get very cheap, are clay tools. Now, I have a ton of clay tools that I have gathered over the years, and a lot of the originals that I bought were wood. But what I quickly found out was nail art pens or styluses or tools are absolutely perfect for polymer clay. They clean, they can actually go in the dishwasher, and they cost like $3 online. You can get these everywhere. In fact, I'm going to have a list below of all my favorite clay products, and you can find them easily on Amazon or at your local dollar store. There's so many places that you can find so many of these items. You could set up a really nice little polymer clay craft kit for less than $20, maybe even $10. So these tools are a must. Ceramic tiles. I would definitely say that you should get ceramic tiles. These cost probably about $1.25, and these might cost all of $2. You can make they're the best surface to make things on, and they're also the best surface to bake things on. So they can go right from your table into the oven, and you can get them very inexpensively at like a big box home renovation store. You can get them at yard sales. You may even have some in your house already. And finally, let me go over the liquids I use. Polymer clay has a oily finish to it because it is a petroleum product. So when you work with it, it gets on your hands, and if you put your hands in soap and water, it just beads up at first. You really have to scrub to get the oil off. But I have found a little trick that if you take hand sanitizer, which has alcohol in it, and you coat your hands with that hand sanitizer, and then immediately take a paper towel and wipe off your hands, it will wipe off all of the oils and the dyes from the polymer clay. It is the best way to wash your hands, to clean your surfaces, and I definitely recommend this, which you probably have in your house after the pandemic. I think we all have this in our house. Baby wipes or wet ones. They do the same exact thing as the hand sanitizer. They're just a little bit more gentle, and they cost a little bit more. And finally, some rubbing alcohol. It doesn't really matter whether it's 50, 70, or 90%. Just know that the stronger it is, the more surface it will take off your clay. I use this for gently removing dirt, dust, and any kind of imperfections to my clay before I bake them. I'll have more about this in other classes. So that's it. That is your basic tools to set up a polymer clay crafting kit. You can find most of the items that you see in front of me at the dollar store, probably in your kitchen, workshop, craft room, junk drawer. I'm sure you have many of these items around your house. The polymer clay blade and acrylic roller, I will link in the description box below if you want to look at where to buy them. And the nail art pens are definitely a steal on Amazon, and I will have that link below as well. What I love about polymer clay is the tools are so inexpensive, and if you're creative, you can find substitutes for almost everything. All you really need to start is a couple bricks of polymer clay and these basics. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful. I'm going to have more polymer clay videos in future. Take care. Goodbye.